All right, we're going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to talk you through my training. Now, the plan is I'm going to do this for the month of January, and I'm going to start that month right now. So I got myself a barbell and a squat rack, and I'm back in action. I really do feel like something is missing from my life when I don't have these pieces of equipment. I can exist fine. I guess this year has been the year that I've been best. When I haven't trained that well, I've still felt pretty good about myself, but it's still something missing from my life. So this was yesterday's training, just getting into a deep squat position again. It was such a light weight that I could easily behind the neck press that weight. So it's only 30 kilos on the bar there. But since I hadn't been with the barbell for quite a while, there is just something different about it. And closing in on 40, I don't need to be in a hurry about getting massive numbers. I think I've been very ego driven in my training in the past, and there is no real need for me to be that guy now. Nobody cares what my numbers are except for me, really. Maybe some of you guys do a little bit, and it probably should influence a little bit of how much you want to listen to what I want to say about strength and even other areas. But bottom line is it's me versus me. And if I can be patient, then, maybe I'll be stronger at 40 than I've ever been in my life. So this was a little challenge set. I went behind the neck for 8 reps. I probably could have got another couple, but if I had of, I don't know if I would have got them from the front. So I went 8 behind the neck at 40 kilos, and then from the front here. So 20 presses with 40 kilos front press is actually like standing press. It's probably pretty good for me. So I guess that's somewhere around the same thing. It depends, how much harder behind the neck is. For you, the cool thing and the most important thing with this movement is not feeling as though there's any trouble for the shoulders. And that was the ugliest way to put that bar back down. But the fact that I could do that without causing issues is a good thing. So we want to get comfortable again with these movements. It took me a number of years for my shoulders to be comfortable with this, and there was research that said some people's shoulders just aren't designed for these sorts of positions. I didn't actually mean to loop this twice. Hopefully this is the last time it's going to play, and we'll keep going forward. But they say that some people's shoulders aren't designed to press overhead. I would say I had those shoulders with the different structure of the chromium process, and I'm sure my shoulders have remodeled significantly because I'm now able to use those movements. So this one, it's nice to get back to this movement. I think you can see, or it feels as though like my right side is like tighter, but it also looks bigger, which is kind of strange because I haven't been doing any real significant lower back work. But it was nice to get back on these. I have done these where I can get my elbows all the way to my toes on even a steeper slant, but I wasn't trying to set any world records. One set was enough. The goal really is I'm going to be training every day, and I'm going to get myself to a level that I haven't been before. That's the plan. So a comfortable double bodyweight back squat would be a place that I have never been close to before. I got there with the belt, but I wouldn't say comfortable. That would be a target to shoot for in 2022, and sort of be a measure of success. If I'm able to front squat on a board like this at 140, then I'll be doing pretty well as well. So these are kind of the numbers that I'm shooting for. If I get to a 85 kilo plus standing press, then I've got myself to a place that I've never been before. And I think it's good for us to continue to go to places we haven't been before. I'm going to document the process. I'll also share some of my training with the skills work and handstands, mobility, and I'll answer questions as we go through. So if you want to comment in with questions, then I can answer them on tomorrow's episode. I'm not going to edit these things to the nth degree. I may edit a little bit more as we go. Let's see how it goes. But The idea being that the commentary is kind of part of the entertainment and the reason for tuning in. So yeah, I've got 30 kilos here. This is not a significant weight for me, for you, for anyone. But my back isn't used to front squatting. My core isn't used to bracing against load. Yes, I could use a lot more weight, and I did end up going up in the weight, but all I really want to do is just feel nice and smooth, feel the weight, feel the positions, getting that pause in the bottom position. Just give my body a chance to feel the positions. And what I care about most is the positions. I think if you're working with athletes, what we want most is the positions. I was putting together stuff for Uncommon Success today, and I was looking at, how do we test movements? I think limiting the concentric is a huge factor in longevity of training. So if we can limit the time that we give ourselves for the concentric phase, then things are going to progress faster, and we're going to have a lot less neural fatigue, and we risk injury a lot less. Those 5, 8, 10 second concentrics, that's where we get really drained and where injuries happen. So what I want is for that up phase to be nice and smooth and to be less than 2 seconds. So if we go from here, 0, 1, there's no 2. It's not more than 2 seconds. Start, 1, yeah. So it's like a 1 second concentric. I'm not trying to go as fast as I can either, because that will create more tension also, and maybe I can handle it, but maybe I'm not ready for it. Maybe I just don't need it yet. I've been getting some good speed work on the hills. That's enough. Okay, so yeah, adding a little bit more weight, feeling the movements. I want to go to a place I haven't been before. I want to prove to myself that I can get back to really consistent training. In 2021, I had very inconsistent training. I left Australia the last few months of 2020, and yeah, I left behind all my consistency, all my training gear. I'd already given all my training gear away to members of Real Movement, and I haven't recaptured training consistency since then. So it's been over a year. Now on Sark, I did have like 2 months of pretty good training, but 2 months isn't long enough to get yourself to another level. So I was playing around with the light. I think I'm going to move the desk and just point the camera at the wall. There is a beautiful view from this gym, but I don't think it's going to be well captured on my camera. I don't know. I'll probably end up moving the gym outside during the summer, put it next to the pool or something. But this is me. I didn't used to be able to squat like this with any weight. See the knees going forward? And then the goal is to keep the knees forward. See how the knees are not shooting back and the butt isn't shooting back. Like this is what a real squat looks like. Now, I haven't got a lot of weight here. I think it's like 40 kilos. But I didn't used to be able to deal with any weight in this way. And so this is a win. And yeah, I can do a bunch more weight, but I already have some DOMs. I'm going to be honest. I have DOMs from the last 2 days training. This is my 3rd session since getting the gym gear all set up. I'm probably going to do 2 20-minute sessions each day. I work from home, and I think it's healthy for me to break things up a bit. If you can notice, my voice is a bit funny. I got sick. I was working in an office that's really cold and drafty, and then I'd like blast the heater, and I just think it was pretty unhealthy. I got so excited about this Uncommon NFT project. I can see how there's so much potential in NFTs for my community, for my business. And I think that excitement I didn't sleep as much, and I worked a lot more, and I wasn't breaking up my work. If the weather's really crappy, then I didn't feel great about getting outside for dips and chins. So here we go with presses anyway. So I think I just got 5 presses at 50 kilos. So if I didn't change the weights in between, then that was also 50 kilos top set on the front squats today. Feeling the weight overhead. It's not like a really comfortable, locked out, resting overhead position as it usually would be. So yeah, just feeling into that a little bit more. 5 at 50, yeah. So 5 at 70 to 72. That's probably where I want to be. So like another 22 kilos. Well, that's probably the best I have been. But if I'm saying I'm pressing 85, then I want to press like 75 to 77, like that for 5. So that puts this at like 2/3 of the weight that I want to deal with. Now that wasn't close to maximal. I dare say in 2 weeks I've probably got 65 for 5 in me. Although I don't have any 2.5 kilo plates because they didn't have any. But yeah, we're going to make some gains. The goal is for people to come along with me on this journey, to be inspired, to maybe make some space in the house. You don't have to have a whole room to put this stuff in. It can pretty much shuffle away against the wall. There's all kinds of squat racks and things that can be tucked away. But yeah, we're also going to be doing quite a bit of work on stiff leg deadlifts. So we're going more to the extreme. The front squat on the slant is the extreme on the quads, and then the stiff leg deadlift is more extreme for posterior chain than a normal deadlift. The front squat on the slant compared to a back squat, a normal back squat is more on the quads. So we're going more to the extremes. Playing around with positions here because I can get a bit more range. If I bend the arms, then I can let the trunk go a little bit further. I can also stand on a plate or something to give myself a little bit more range. But yeah, I've deadlifted 220. I've deadlifted 200, double overhand, no hook. And I'm nowhere near those numbers at the moment. So I don't know if I'm going to lift them anytime soon, but it's fun to be back in the game, back on the move. The challenge, and probably the biggest reason for doing this video accountability, is to challenge myself to not train too hard and to not burn out and to be consistent and to be patient. Because I tend to, I want it all and I want it all yesterday, and that's part of the blessing, right? Like that's part of the reason why, I got close to national level in hockey, and the teams that I work with won. Working in pro rugby, like the standards are a good thing, but yeah, it's a self-management process, and using strength training, and this is probably something I learned from a friend of mine, Mitch Pike, who took himself off social media like 2 years ago, and I haven't had any contact with him since then. I need to check in with his brother every now and then to make sure he's going well. I think he's going well. But I loved one of the messages that he had for me and for people around me, at events that we both presented at and things, was like, use your training to fix whatever you need to fix in your life. So if you need more intensity, then teach yourself how to train with intensity. This is an example of an intensity movement. So you can move the bar over a really short, small range of motion, and therefore a lot of weight can be used, and you can sort of teach the body, okay, it's heavy, but it's not really heavy. So